For over 70 years, the Galactic Council waited. Invitations were sent, messengers dispatched, and frequencies broadcast toward Earth. Each one met with silence. Some species assumed humanity was too primitive to understand. Others believed Earth had collapsed under its own chaos. The Council moved on, confident the strange little blue planet had either perished or simply wasn't worth the effort. Then, without warning, 1,000 human warships broke through hyperspace at the edge of the Council's most secure sector. No warning, no explanation. Just sleek black vessels stretching from orbit to the horizon, armed, organized, and deadly silent. Humanity hadn't vanished. They had been watching, waiting, and what they brought wasn't diplomacy. It was dominance. Council's patience. The Galactic Council, formed over 4,000 years ago, represented the union of over 700 civilizations. Its purpose: to maintain order, prevent interstellar wars, and guide young species toward peaceful coexistence. Every time a new civilization achieved faster-than-light travel, it was protocol to invite them. Earth was no exception. The moment they discovered their warp signature, Earth was flagged, and a first contact package was dispatched. The Council expected a reply within a decade. It never came. Instead, Earth remained frustratingly quiet. Interceptors confirmed activity, spaceports, orbital satellites, even deep space probes, but no one answered the Council's calls. Council members debated the situation endlessly. The Paratha argued Earth should be left alone entirely. The Varnik believed silence was a sign of military buildup. Others, like the peaceful Liari, urged continued outreach. Yet, after decades of effort, Earth remained an enigma. Humanity watches. In silence back on Earth, things were far from quiet. The lack of response wasn't due to ignorance. Humanity received every message. Translations were made, Council signals decoded, alien languages cataloged. But Earth wasn't ready. At the time of first contact, Earth had just survived its third major global conflict in a century. Environmental crises, political fragmentation, and economic disparity left nations unstable. World leaders, for once, agreed. Humanity needed to unite before stepping onto the galactic stage. So, Earth watched. Every open channel, every council broadcast, every diplomatic negotiation, humans recorded it all. Over decades, AI superclusters parsed alien laws, dissected foreign politics, and monitored power structures. Earth wasn't idle. They were preparing. In the shadows of Earth's moon, massive orbital shipyards were constructed. Asteroid mining became routine. By the time the Council gave up on Earth, humanity had already launched a dozen interstellar expeditions. They just didn't tell anyone. The catalyst, the Zyphorian massacre, changed everything. A peaceful planet on the Council's outer rim was raided by a pirate faction known as the Crawl. The Council, entangled in bureaucratic red tape, failed to respond in time. 12 billion lives were lost. The tragedy shocked the galaxy. Protesters stormed Council buildings. Member species threatened to withdraw. But none were as angry as humanity. Because Earth had been watching. Encrypted channels from Earth lit up with activity. Military leaders convened. The Terran High Command released a 3-word statement to the United Earth Defense Network. Operation Skyhammer, begin. The arrival. The first sign was a fluctuation in hyperspace near Sector 9. Council sensors detected multiple WARP ruptures, standard for cargo vessels or mid-sized fleets. But these were too consistent. Too coordinated. Then came the fleet. 1,000 ships. Not merchant vessels. Not scouts, warships, sleek, matte black hulls. Each ship emitted no transponder code, but everyone bore a single, unmistakable emblem. Earth's insignia, a blue circle containing a white tree, flanked by 13 stars. They didn't ask for permission to dock. They simply formed a defensive perimeter around Zyphorian space, deployed orbital defense systems, and began construction of relief stations. Council representatives demanded an explanation. Earth responded, "We are here to ensure this never happens again. Your authority has failed. Our response will not." Reactions. The council chamber, usually a place of endless debate, was silent. The UN delegation called it a declaration of war. The cultures saw it as a power grab. But the Liari, victims of two failed council protections themselves, sent Earth a message of gratitude. Other species, particularly those in neglected sectors, welcomed the sudden show of strength. Earth's fleets began escorting freighters, dismantling pirate outposts, and enforcing previously ignored council laws. Within months, regions long considered lawless were stable, but Earth didn't stop there. They deployed medical AI units, clean water systems, and power infrastructure to colonies still living in slums. Entire planets saw their living standards triple in a year. Humanity's doctrine. At the first open address from Earth, Admiral Sira Malik stood before the council. "You asked why we ignored your invitations. The answer is simple: we weren't ready to sit at your table. But we are now. And we come not to join, but to lead. You confuse protocol with progress, bureaucracy with peace. We watched as the powerful stalled while the weak suffered. That ends now. Earth doesn't wait for permission to do what's right." The speech divided the chamber. Some accused Earth of imperialism. Others whispered of revolution. But the people, the common citizens of the galaxy, cheered. The realignment. Within 2 years, 15 systems voluntarily placed themselves under Earth's protection. 3 council species withdrew from the council entirely to form military alliances with Earth. Trade boomed. Crime plummeted. Earth did not dismantle the council. They reformed it. Committees once obsessed with politics now prioritized results. Emergency response times dropped from weeks to hours. For the first time in history, pirate factions sued for peace. When questioned about their massive military spending, Earth replied simply, "Peace is maintained through strength, not dominance, but readiness." The price of power, not all consequences, were visible. As Earth expanded, so did pressure. Cultural clashes erupted. Some human commanders overstepped. In one case, Earth troops intervened in a civil dispute that spiraled into a minor planetary rebellion. The media called it the Vurex incident. Earth apologized. They pulled back forces. And something unprecedented happened. A human commander was court-martialed publicly in an alien court by Earth's own request. It shocked the galaxy. Because Earth wasn't pretending to be perfect. They were aiming to be accountable. A new order. 5 years after the arrival, Earth proposed a new model, a joint defense and development coalition. Council members would retain sovereignty, but share technology, military resources, and humanitarian logistics. Most agreed. Some did not. But the galaxy was changing. In the outer colonies, children spoke of Earthships as protectors. In border worlds, human engineers were building water treatment plants alongside alien apprentices. In the council chambers, Earth diplomats no longer sat as guests. They sat as leaders. Legacy. In the end, Earth didn't conquer the galaxy. They inspired it. Their arrival was a shock. Their methods, aggressive, but their intent? Clear. They missed every meeting. But when they finally showed up, they didn't ask for a seat at the table. They built their own table, and then they invited everyone else to sit down. The human paradox. As the dust settled and stability grew, Galactic scholars began dissecting what came to be known as the human paradox. Earth arrived as a juggernaut of war, but delivered peace. They broke protocol, but restored order. There, soldiers wielded weapons, yet often brought food, medicine, and tools. Historian Kalari Ven of the Zalos Institute wrote, "Humanity is the only species to walk into the council chambers armed to the teeth, not to threaten, but to protect." This contradiction puzzled many. Yet, It was this very paradox that endeared Earth to the disenfranchised. While older council members clung to tradition, Earth represented possibility, raw, unpredictable, but driven by conviction, seeds of collaboration. Humanity didn't hoard knowledge. Instead, they opened entire universities to alien students. Mars became a melting pot of interstellar culture. On Europa, Earth funded a biotech lab run by 6 species working on galactic-wide disease prevention. Joint exploration missions were launched. The Helios Initiative, a human Varnic venture, discovered 3 new habitable worlds. Colonization was done cooperatively with no claims of ownership, only stewardship. Rather than domination, Earth offered partnership. Slowly, suspicion gave way to trust. A challenge from within, yet not all humans supported the expansion. Back on Earth, debates intensified. Was the Terran mandate stretching too thin? Were resources being diverted unfairly? Protests arose. The Unity movement demanded a return to Earth-first policies. Others warned of losing human identity in the tide of galactic integration. The government responded by forming the Human Values Council, a civilian body meant to ensure Earth's principles remained intact. Decisions were now more transparent, power more decentralized. Humanity was learning, adapting, growing alongside the galaxy they had shocked into listening. The first Galactic Summit. 10 years after their dramatic arrival, Earth hosted the first fully inclusive Galactic Summit. Over 600 species attended, many for the first time. It wasn't held in the Council's central hall, it was held in Earth orbit, aboard the flagship Atlas Rising.